days, they'll be brought before the board in a lien hearing setting, and that is where the board is going to be involved. And I just, as we go through this, want to make clear that there's going to be some very anguished people who are coming here to appeal the case to you, and it's going to be a challenging setting for the board. I gave the board an overview, a flow chart of individual sections of this procedure. How it all flows together is shown here. I put all these pages together, and I've color-coded areas where the clerk of the board is involved, where county council is involved, and where the board of supervisors is involved. County council has by far and away the most involvement. However, the board will be involved in a summary abatement setting where we are charging the owner of the property for any summary abatement that takes place, civil penalties, attorney's fees, and related costs of abatement. Should they fail to reimburse the county for the costs that are incurred, they too will be candidates for a lien and be here presumably defending their property against a lien. The other situation in which the board will be involved will be where there's no appeal and no abatement. In other words, there's virtually no activity on the part of the owner, and those cases will be coming to you and are more likely to be the ones that are highly charged with some emotion. What I thought I would do here is run you through a typical but hypothetical case. And I say typical because these are actual incidences. The photographs that you'll see are actual cases that are ongoing right now. And the types of issues that I've raised are issues that we deal with every day. So we have someone who's written us a complaint. We are complaint-driven for the most part. We don't act unless we actually have a written complaint, unless it's something that is a real life and health and safety issue, and then, of course, we will act. In this instance, we have unpermitted travel trailer occupancy, unpermitted construction, unpermitted septic system, large accumulation of junk, debris, and trash, and a collection of inoperable vehicles. So at this point, code enforcement is going to open the case physically, and we're going to refer it to appropriate agencies, and that's what you see over on the left-hand side is we've referred this case to environmental health, who will work with us on this case. We then send a confirming letter to the reporting party and a request for inspection to the property owner. The request for inspection asks the property owner to respond to us within 10 working days. Should they fail to respond to us, we then ask them we send them another letter asking them to respond within 5 working days. If we don't get any response there, we work with county council to obtain a warrant and an inspection warrant, and we access the property that way. Once on site, we conduct a thorough site inspection, document all of the violations we see, photographing, taking notes, etc. Back in the office, and after the site inspection, we draft a notice and order to abate based upon the ordinance drafted by the board. And the notice and order identifies violations of code, identifies the abatement steps necessary, sets out the civil penalties that are the main issue here, and offers a 10-day window in which to appeal. We post the property physically, and we send copies by certified and regular mail. Regarding the civil penalty issue, how is that arrived at? The ordinance itself has variables set out in its language, and I took all eight of the variables there and put them in the left-hand column. And I then wanted to take 100% of the weight of that of a case, and I divided that by the relative importance of each. Health and safety issues were more highly weighted than non-health and safety issues. I then further broke it down into 3 categories so we can reflect the scope of the problem on site. If there's something very dangerous, but it's a tiny portion of the violation, it would receive a low valuation. In this instance, we've given it a high valuation, and we're assessing the owner of the property $100 per day. We then inspect the property at regular intervals, for example, every 30 days. In this example, at the end of 30 days, there's no abatement, and we talk with the owner, appealing to them to move their abatement efforts forward. We then come back in 60 days to once again assess the violation. And again, I remind the board that this is an actual case you're looking at, and it's just like this today after many, many reminders to get stuff going. At the end of 90 days, we yet again see that there's been little to no effort